Hello there, guys. Today's puzzle might look pretty easy, but it's really not. White has to work a lot to win this position. So, what are we looking at? Well, we have one pawn here, 2 steps away from promotion. Otherwise, we are a bit behind in the material, so we need to be very smart and quick to win this before Black can gather his defense forces. Okay, white move here and we win. You can pause the video now and see if you can find out the variation on your own on how we win this in the end. Go ahead. Welcome back. Well, the key to win this is, of course, this pawn. We want to get it to promotion and win by taking a queen there. So the first move is pretty obvious. It's actually just to play it to f7. The only other possible move to look at is maybe to cover it with the bishop and then threaten a discovered check. But black will have a very easy draw here. He can actually simply take this. This is a draw. And even though we win the rook, we have two pieces against one, and we are not winning that. Black doesn't have to take it either. He can give a check on g1, followed up with a king there, and then a bishop check, and then it's covered like this. And well, it's just too slow. So we push the pawn to f7. That's no hard to see. Now the question is, what will black do here? The good point of pushing this pawn is that we cover the g8 square and we also cover the g7 square with our rook. So the king is blocked. Cannot come there. He cannot take our knight. We will simply promote and win this easy. So he has to stop it with the rook. There are three moves to look at. Two are losing right away. One, if he tries to put his rook on f6 and attack here, well, then we can play bishop to b2. We pin the rook to the knight, to the king, sorry, and then we will promote next move. Easy win. Black can also play rook g8 and think that he will take back with the king, but it's actually exactly what we are doing. We just take the rook, and after that we will have a nice little fork. We'll win the bishop, and then we have the pleasant task of winning with a bishop and a knight against the king. Takes some time, but it's winning in the end. Okay, so now it's getting really interesting because black will, of course, give a check on a6. And the question is from here, how do we win this as white? If you want to pause the video again, go ahead. All right, here we go. Well, we only have three possible moves. If we move the king to b1, it's actually losing right away. Black will take our knight with a check and then followed up by the king to g7 or back down with the rook, and we are really losing this. Okay, so if the king goes to b2, what happens then? Well, then we have blocked our path for our own bishop, so we cannot come to b2 anymore. So then the rook can go back. And now he will take our pawn, and we are not winning this as white. So what we have to do here is that we have to sacrifice our bishop. Let's put it on a3. This is very, very brilliant move. If he moves back, well, then we simply play bishop b2 again. So black has no other option than to take our bishop. And of course, we don't play the king to b1. We've seen what happens then. We lose our knight with a check. Instead, we play king b2. And look at this. Now, white has very, very big problems to stop this pawn. And you might think that, okay, now this study is done. But we are far from over. Because, look at this. Black has some really smart moves here. He will play rook a2, sacrifice his rook. Well, it's a sham sacrifice because we cannot take it. If we take it, we will see this bishop check with a fork, and we will lose our pawn, and of course it's a draw. Just to show you, why couldn't he play the rook to b3 also? Well, then we can escape on a2, This rook is blocking this diagonal, and he has no other way now to stop the pawn. So black has to play the king to, the rook to a2 check. We cannot take it, and it's, of course, if we play to b1, we've seen what happens then. Takes here with a check. Even if we get the rook, there's another check, and we lose our pawn, and that's a draw. And of course, we can't go to b3 right away either because of the check here. So we have two options, and they both look very interesting, but only one of these moves win and the other is a draw. Can you see which one is the best? Here we go. I will show you now what's the worst. King c1 is the right move. If white plays to c3, black will be able to hold the draw here, but it's not easy. It's going to take some time. But he will start with another brilliant rook check. Same again, of course, we cannot take it because he will take the knight with a check and then bring his king to g7. So if we go in here, well, there's a check, and then the rook will come to d8. So white has to move back and forth in these files, B and C, maybe A also, but cannot do anything. After this, if we go to the 7th rank somewhere, the rook comes to b7 with a check, and we lose our pawn, and that's a draw. And even if we do something like this, and we try to now go to d6, and we think we're gonna play the king to e7, well, it's the same there. The rook can also come to d7 with a check, and then sacrifice on the pawn, and it's a draw. So, moving back, as I said, we have to play king c1. And now black will try some more things. This check is not good enough. Then we can play the king to b1, and again, this rook is blocking. So even if it takes here, it's a very easy win for us with promoting with the check. Then we take the bishop, and of course, we are winning. So he has to give a check on a1 to keep this game alive. And again, we only have one possible square to go to win. We have three to choose from, but only one is winning. And this is obvious, of course. The same, we have seen that what happens, and then the king comes to g7. And if we go to b2, black has, again, a very smart check from behind. We cannot take it, of course, due to the bishop takes on f5. So again, we will start going up, and the checks will come back and forth, exactly like we looked at just a minute ago. So we want to escape to d2. Of course, we have to stay away from these white squares all the way, and just managing our king on the dark squares. There's no point in checking here, because there's no check after that, so that's just losing a rook. Instead, black will continue checking on the a file. And again, we cannot go here. Of course, we've seen that. And we cannot go here because it will be the same situation. Rook c2 will come. Instead, we will simply run our king. We want to hide it up here. So it will continue like this. There's no check here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't give black anything. We'll just take it. So we go up here, and then we hide. And now we think, all right, we got our king hidden here, and we will promote next time. No, we still got some work to do. Look at this. He can actually sacrifice the rook again on g4. And obviously, if we take it, black will take the knight with the check, and then play the king to g7. Even though we can protect it. The king will come to f8, and now we either go away or we put our king on f6, and it's a stalemate and a draw. So again, we cannot take the rook on g4. We have 3 possible squares to go to. And again, only one is winning, the other one is just leading to a draw. You want to pause the video one last time to see if you can find out how we really take this to the bank? Go ahead. Okay, here we go. So, king h5 is wrong. It's this beautiful, another sacrifice with a rook. Black really wants to sacrifice his rook, that's obvious. And of course, we cannot take it. We will just lose our queen that we have promoted to. And if we try something like this, it's pretty easy for black. He doesn't want to put the rook here because of the check on g6. But it will still be... Actually, he can put it there. He can put it on d8 also. Sorry about that. The check will lead to a draw, of course. Simple as that. So we cannot do that. I mean, we cannot go with the king to h5. What if we play it to f6? Black will do the same procedure. And now if we try with the knight to e7, now we cannot put this on f8 because our king is blocking. But rook d8 is good enough. Even with the check here, simply go to h7, and we cannot really get this pawn promoted. Black will just wait, and then finally, when we come down, he will sacrifice his rook, and this is a draw. So, going back to this position, the winning move for white was king h6, and I will show you why. Of course, we are threatening to bring this to a queen. Black will play rook g8, and we will play knight e7. And look at this. If black now moves his rook somewhere, well, then we have a checkmate here with our knight. Beautiful little checkmate, and we don't need to promote. So he cannot move his rook on the 8th rank, and if he moves it on the g file somewhere, well, of course, then we simply promote, and that's a checkmate, next move. So final try for black is to play the bishop to e6. The threaten to take this, and what do? Well, we don't really care. We take the rook anyway, promote to a queen, force black to take it, and you see what we do now. We end up with this beautiful checkmate. Only a knight versus a bishop, and it's checkmate for white, and it's so brilliant. From the starting position leading to this end position, this study is really a true masterpiece. I really like this one. I hope you enjoyed it too. Please press like on the video and come back to my channel for more. Have a great day. Bye bye.